I think we'll move into our last session quickly, because some people will want to go. It's now 3:43. I promise I'll try and have you out of here by 4:30 at the latest. Is that okay? Let's see how we go. So we'll get through this one. Raising the resilience factor. Resilience is a buzzword, but what is it actually? John Marsden, who's an Australian principal, writes this: life is a thrilling adventure. Our children get only rare glimpses of the possibilities to roam, to dare, to fail. These are the rights of children, according to John Marsden. He also wrote a series of books called Tomorrow When the War Began, and it's now a movie. But this book, Take Risks, is a really powerful expose on often what we do wrong when it comes to protecting our children, overprotecting our children, so that they never get to take risks and never get to roam and never get to experience and learn resilience. He says, children, this is what John Marsden says, children are being overprotected and it's setting them up for failure as adults. He says they're ill-equipped to deal with the real world. He says the problem has only emerged in the last decade and is so severe, he says, it is tantamount to emotional abuse. People think they're doing the right thing, they're trying desperately to do the right thing, but they're actually doing a lot of harm. They're not giving the kids first-hand experiences. And you've heard the terms used: cotton wool kids, lawnmower parenting, and helicopter parenting. The idea is that we want the best for our children. We don't want them to suffer like we suffered. We don't want them to have the hard knocks like we had the hard knocks. So we want to iron it all out and wrap them up and keep them safe so that they have the best. But in so doing, we're actually damaging our children. And that's what John Marsden writes about in his book. Michelle Mitchell says we can't ignore the influence that online personalities are having on our tweens. When tweens were asked what they enjoyed most, in today's day and age, watching YouTube dominated. These tweens idolise people they've never met and list them as a major influence on their lives. My wife teaches at a state school, and just recently she asked her class who their hero was, expecting Australian cricketer, an Australian basketballer, a soccer player, rugby, generally they'll name somewhere from the sporting field or a movie star, but most of the boys named Andrew Tate as their hero. If you haven't heard of Andrew Tate, you need to Google him. He's been in the news recently. You know who Andrew Tate is? But yeah, most kids will know who Andrew Tate is. And there's some good things with him. He came from, I think it was kickboxing, was what he was involved in. He learnt how to get online and to control the algorithms, and he's now a major influence. He's actually been banned from online just recently, but he's still got an online following in the millions, especially of young boys that idolise him. He says that women belong in the home, they can't drive, and are a man's property. He believes that. He also thinks that rape victims must bear responsibility for their attacks. Is that what I want my boys to be watching? He dates women aged 18 to 19 because he can make an imprint on them according to the videos he's posted online. He's recently been detained and been charged in, I think it's Romania, for producing online pornography and for taking young women and producing pornography from them and bullying online. So he's currently been detained. But this guy is known by most young boys in our schools as their hero. As I said earlier in the day, the enemy has plans for our children. The question is, and this is just one of the influences. There are numerous influences like this that, especially for our boys, have such misogynistic understanding of what it means to live and influencing our kids more powerful than ever. Michelle Mitchell says, we learn from people we like. As parents, we must be aware of who our teens like and why. The fact that teens are so influenced by people they share a common interest with leaves them vulnerable. Florence Williams says, part of our problem today is that we're losing our connection to nature more dramatically than ever before. Thanks to the confluence of demographics and technology, we've pivoted further away from nature than any generation before us. At the same time, we're increasingly burdened by chronic ailments made worse by time spent indoors, from myopia and vitamin D deficiency, who would have thought in Australia, to obesity, depression, loneliness and anxiety, amongst others. She says one of the big things our kids are suffering from today is vitamin N, which is nature, vitamin N deficiency. Just been able to get outdoors. She says, we have gained much since the dawn of the internet, but many experts argue we've also grown more irritable, less sociable, more narcissistic, more distracted, and less cognitively nimble. We can't blame all our malaise on our separation from nature, but our complaints reveal some fraying of psychological resilience. There are times when we could all be a little less reactive, a little more empathetic, more focused and more grounded. That's where a nature dose can help. That's from Florence Williams in 2017. Resilience is a buzzword, according to Justin Colson, but what is it actually? A person is considered resilient if they are doing better than we might expect given the circumstances they are facing or have faced previously. Something inside them or something or someone in their environment or both helps them find the capacity to make it. That's Justin Colson's idea. So the idea is that when they've got adverse things happening to them, yet they still bounce back and still make it despite what life throws at them, that is resilience. The problem we have today in society is that we've erred on the side of everyone gets an award, everyone is a winner. So you all get a badge for where they tend to get lost along the way, give themselves permission to make mistakes and find their way back to what's needed. Where they tend to get lost along the way,